Well, here we are. Time for the WellRED podcast. Sans Drew for the nonce, at least.
Rest in peace, Drew.
Yeah, we don't know where he is. He, dead or whatever. He'll probably come straggling in here for long, as he is wont to do.
Pissed off, butt spread, hating the world.
Yeah. He's probably going to say like he thought it was a different time, even though this is the only time that got said.
Yeah, right.
Now he didn't
always do it.
I don't know what time we always do it because we've been switching days lately or whatever. I just know that I suggested this time. You said yes. He said nothing, but then he said other things unrelated to the time,
which is confirmation.
Which I took as tacit confirmation. Exactly.
Yes,
you can't.
I think
if someone poses a question about time, and then you just sort of ignore that and start talking about something else related to the podcast, then that's saying I don't have a problem with that time.
Yes, and that goes for other conversations as well, because I actually get in this argument with people all the time. Like, we'll be in a group text or something, planning a dinner for Saturday or something. Someone will say, how about 6? Then one of the parties will respond, works for me. And then the other party will come in and start talking about something else, meaning that they had to have
where
seen
you're
that.
Going to go, where you're going to go or something.
Meaning that they had to have seen the thing that said 6.
Right.
And then it comes time for that. And they're like, well, we never confirmed. And it's like, no, you never confirmed. We fucking said 6. And then you brought additional minutes to the meeting, but it's 6. So
I very much feel that if you have a problem with the proposed time, you have to outwardly say that. You can't just say nothing and then be like, well, I never said, you can't just say nothing and be like, that was me not agreeing. It's like, no, you have to not agree, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially it'd be different if they never said anything at all. Cause then it's like, maybe they never even saw the proposed time.
Yes.
So I better double check with them. But if they come in there and acknowledge the conversation itself, but without, then yes, you gotta, I don't know what else I'm supposed to think. We're getting out ahead of all this because I just have this feeling that that's what the situation with Drew is going to be. Is he's going to be like, I didn't say that time was okay or what, it's going to be something about the time, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to state my case for the record, even though the audience never had to know any of this. But,
but I think that all of this is relative to the audience, because even though it's inside baseball, because the prompt for this was it's about our podcast, everybody knows the situation that we're currently in. And I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time of it is up to you. And by the way, I've been guilty of this before. So I'm not saying I've never done this. You are responsible for going back in the thread to see information that you didn't get. Now, granted, if we had 3, I don't know, sometimes we get on a roll and there might be 120 some odd texts. In that situation, it might mean that we should repeat, by the way, 6 o'clock, that cool. But if a question about time is posed, you have to do the due diligence of going back, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. He probably just fucking fell asleep, farting, or whatever, and none of that even happened. We're just projecting all that onto him, just trying to see it coming in the future. But so, what do you know about clowns?
Not a lot, not as much as I should. I know, they're definitely terrifying. I'm not one of those people that's deathly afraid of clowns.
Okay.
No. I'm not. They are creepy, but to me, the only reason that I find them creepy is because so many people found them so creepy that they decided to use them in that way in art. You know what I mean? If it had never existed, and they,
I was about to say, I think our generation, we were kids when the first It came out with Tim Curry as
terrifying,
fucking Pennywise. And I just feel like everybody saw that of our age or whatever. And it's just, that's literally the reason why I don't fuck with clowns is because of that iteration of it, which is so wild. I'm about to go on a little tangent here.
No, go ahead.
Dude, imagine being Stephen King. Stephen King that was from the like first filmed adaptation, but still that's Stephen King's doing. He invented all of that, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, you're a horror author, right? And he literally like scarred a generation for life, like imprinted phobias, far-reaching phobias,
literal
like
phobias,
cultural phenomenon phobias. Like everybody afraid of clowns, and a huge part of that is because of a book he wrote. Like that's just wild, dude. Having that kind of cultural impact is fucking insane. I mean, I literally can't imagine it.
And me either. And the way that I know for a fact that it was Stephen King's It is because before I saw that, I was actually into Bozo. Like Bozo used to come on like our local cable. It was syndicated, you know? So like Bozo would just come on, and like, I'm not saying I was a huge Bozo the Clown fan, but I'd be at my granny's and it would be on, and like Bozo entertained me, and I was like, oh, a wacky clown. When I was a kid, I played a clown in our school did like its own circus, had no problem with him. But as soon as Tim Curry was it, fuck clowns forever.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, one of the most preeminent brands in all of American culture was fronted by a clown, Ronald McDonald, for years and years. Obviously, clowns didn't have the sort of stigma that they had then, or McDonald, you know what I mean? He wouldn't have been the McDonald's guy. Right. But like, you don't ever see Ronald McDonald anymore because it's just like clowns have just been eroded out of, because of it was like a turning point. And from that point on, everybody that came after that was like, fuck clowns don't hit, keep clowns away from me. And now that's just the way it is, which I suppose doesn't hit for, you know, actual clowns.
I was going to say, I've never actually considered that for people who are in the profession of clowns.
Yeah. Stephen King like destroyed an entire profession.
Yeah. Like, dude,
of the comedy industry.
It's possible that like old episodes of Bozo don't run as much anymore because of clowns.
You know, I know they don't. You know, they don't. Right. I mean, I remember Bozo running too. Bozo, like you said, was in syndication when we were little. That motherfucker ain't been on TV in years.
No. So just the loss of revenue.
Clowns don't hit for people.
No, they don't, because of Stephen. That's fucking
because
crazy,
of Stephen King. Keep it on the Stephen King tangent for a second before circling back to clowns, because I found out some shit about clowns I didn't know that I'm going to get to in a minute. But as far as Stephen King goes, did you see? Talk about how insanely impactful Stephen King has been in his career, like objectively, undeniably at this point, right?
The most prolific writer of our generation, without question.
Without a doubt. Prolific and celebrated and fucking like relevant and all of that shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so did you see what that
Dan Bongino
shit said to him on Twitter?
Yeah.
He said to Stephen King, "Get a job, loser."
Yeah. He also said that he also claimed that Stephen King was typing this from his mother's basement.
Mom's basement.
Like, that's like, dude, that's the thing that they always say. They always say that when it's like a person on Twitter that nobody knows about, you can make the assumption that they're in their mom's basement. But for this motherfucker to use that baseline retort to one of the wealthiest authors to ever live is like, dude, if you want to be like Stephen King's a liberal elitist, fuck him for all that, dude, say all that. That's fine. But the fucking sheer notion of implying that you get a job, you person who writes 7 novels a week, and also claiming he claimed that he was irrelevant. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which could not be. That's the least true thing I've ever. Like Stephen King. If Stephen King didn't do another thing from 1993 on, the fact that he's responsible for Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile means that his relevancy will outlive everyone on planet Earth. But like,
Carrie Cujo, The Shining, It, like, it goes on and on, like for days.
For sure, like, The Dark Tower, like, but so. When you read that, did it seem to you like Dan Bongino might not have known who Stephen King was?
I mean, the only reason I will allow for the possibility that that's not what happened is because of how massively douchey and lacking self-awareness these people are. Meaning, like, the most obvious interpretation of that was that he did not know who Stephen King is. Right. But that, that defies belief. Logic. Like that's right. Like it almost cannot be true.
Right.
And then it's like, yeah, but nobody would say that to Stephen King, knowing who. And then part of my brain is like, well, I mean, this guy might, because that's just how, R-worded and shitty these people are.
Right.
So,
but
it definitely seemed like he didn't know who Stephen King was. Yeah, which is wild.
Dissecting it even a little bit further, like I've definitely, and you have too, had some like right-wing trolls comment on our videos or something telling us that we should get a real job, right? And the reason is because there's a lot of people, society has a thing where if you see someone doing a thing that they're having fun at, you cannot physically allow yourself to call that work, because people have this idea that work means a thing you do that you don't like. And for the most part in society, that is 100% true. Like, that's absolutely 100% true.
Well, it's kind of, do you buy into the whole, everybody in any profession or industry or whatever, the saying, when you do something you love.
Yeah, right.
You never work a day in your life. So I'm saying, like, if you like, because some people I think don't view their jobs as work. Like, it depends on.
True.
You know what I'm saying? If you're conflating jobs and work, I'm saying a lot of people, like Stephen King works very hard, but like he might even be like, oh, this isn't work. This is my passion.
No,
whatever,
sure. But at the end of the day, it is a job. But at the end, a job does not mean a thing you do that is insanely. A job means something you do that people pay you money for. Money for it. Right. And so I understand that some people are like, oh, that author, that's not really a job. But for Dan Bongino, whose most famous contribution to the world is podcasting, to say to Stephen King, you need to get a job, when it's not like Dan Bongino's up on a fucking roof nailing right now, is insane.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the only logical explanation is that he didn't know who he was talking to, which is also insane.
Because, dude, Stephen King is like, he's not exactly Coca-Cola and Mickey Mouse, but he's as close of a physical human manifestation of those things. Like, he's a fucking staple of the world. Like, he's almost not even real anymore. Like, Stephen King is he's an establishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's like a brand and everything.
And he hits.
And he does hit. Yeah. Dude, I was a huge Stephen King fan when I was younger. And last year I read that JFK assassination book, 11/22/63 or whatever. It's
his alternate history thing.
Yeah. And it's, it's fucking great.
Is it a banger?
Yeah, and that book's dude. That book's probably 10 years old, but that's like more relatively recent, era Stephen King. So, like I'm saying, he still got it. I
would like to say before we get off Stephen King, I would like to say that I'll never forgive him for scaring me more than I've ever been scared, which wasn't it, but the movie Pet Sematary. Go on.
Drew said time got away from him at the gym, and he thought it was an hour earlier than it is. So,
well, there you go.
He just don't know how time work. I don't know if that means he'll be here or not.
Well, either way, we're here. Let's take a quick break, Trae, so that you can talk about clowns. Hey guys, it's your boy, Corey Ryan Forster. I'll be short and sweet. PartTimeFunnyman.com is where you can get bonus stuff from me. Got bonus podcasts, bonus videos, essays, stories, all sorts of cool stuff. It is $5 a month, but if you can't afford that, it's free. Either tier, you get the same stuff. It's just if you have the money to pay for it, it'd be cool if you did that. But if you don't, it's fine. You can get it for free. You can also make a one-time donation to the show on PayPal using buttercreamcorey@gmail.com. It's a really cool thing. I'm adding new cool stuff all the time. There's about to be a whole brand new podcast over there called Oh Yeah Daddy, where I exploit the fact that I am now a dad and becoming quite the cliche one. So we'll talk about cliche dad stuff. You can get it everywhere soon, but it'll be up at parttimefunnyman.com before it's up anywhere. parttimefunnyman.com. Subscribe, support me, love me, love me. For the love of God, love me. I need it. Love y'all. parttimefunnyman.com. Well, he's a part-time time. Funny man, he does stand up when he can, but he wants to stay at home and raise his kid. So he sits behind his computer and he does this. Classy.
All right, so you said you don't really know that much about clowns, like the inner workings of clowndom or anything?
Me and you have beat a couple things around, but I've like I know that it's more serious than what anyone would think it was, but I don't know what those things are, and I would love to know, because I know that clown college is like a thing.
Yeah, so a clown's face paint is like a thumbprint. Did you know that?
Yes, I think I did know that. And one thing else I know, and then I'll let you go, but I think that I heard this one time, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that you register your clown face by painting it on some sort of egg or an orb and then mailing it to like the National Register of Clowns. Is that true, or is that a thing I made up?
You did not make that up. That's actually, that right there is the main thing that I saw and wanted to talk about, was that. So
nice.
You go through the process of your clown training, right? You develop your own clown persona, right? And that clown persona has its own face, its own makeup, whatever, that you also come up with. And so the face is attached to the persona, Bozo's a persona or whatever, right. You know what I mean? And yeah, they are copywritten in the clown world. Nobody else can use that face or that persona, and they copyright it by painting it on an egg, which is the International Clown Registry stores all of the clown face eggs inside the organ room of the Holy Trinity Church, which is the final resting place of the beloved Grimaldi the Clown, who passed away in 1837 and is noting for boosting the popularity of clowning to a worldwide audience. So clowning is serious business.
I was about to say, this sounds like Catholicism. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's a really I knew that people who were clowns took it serious, but I didn't know that it actually was that's there's a lot of reverence to that. But how the fuck? Dude, me and you were talking the other day about, I don't know if we were doing it on here just offhand, about song melodies and how to me, it's almost insane that when someone makes up a new song melody that they don't kind of accidentally rip off somebody else, because how many different ways can you make G flat, sound different than other people's guitar riffs? How the fuck do you with a clown face, how many different iterations can there be?
Right. I think that too. And also it's I feel like every clown, I don't stare, longingly at clown faces. If I see a clown face, I'm like, fuck. And then I look away generally, I'm not studiously observing it. So to be fair, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of the same type of clown thing. Do you know what I mean? They've either got the big sad lips, painted on, or the happy ones or whatever. Right. You got the hair, I guess, is part of it. I assume. Right. I don't know.
Bozo maybe, had
you got the hair, out to the side and or up on top or whatever, or you got a hobo cap.
Yeah.
With a floppy top on it.
Yeah, like Charlie's Pawpaw in Chocolate Factory. That's the clown. Yeah. That's a clown look.
There's obviously the nose, and then there's only so many ways they can draw those things around their face, right? Or their eyes. I wonder if Kiss registered their characters or whatever.
You would think. That's somewhat of a clown, but
they've somehow copywritten that whole thing. They have to,
without
because Kiss is the most commercialized fucking band in the history of music. So they've definitely thought of that.
You know what I'm thinking of now too is that I can't off the top of my head think of any clown that uses different colors other than red and white. You know what I mean? Like it's all red and white too. Like I don't think I've ever seen a blue face painted.
Well, the
clown.
white face, no, the white. So the white face, like the base of all the clown faces is white. I'm pretty sure, and that is, you know, who invented that? Joseph Grimaldi. Joseph Grimaldi, the guy who's buried where they store all the clown eggs. Because that dude's a British. Grimaldi sounds Italian. I guess he's Italian descent. I don't know, but he was a British. He was the most popular English entertainer of the Regency era, which was the early 1800s, 1811 to 1820. So he was like the George Clooney of the War of 1812 time. George Clooney, yeah, that's right. Yes. And he was the guy that, like, he made clowning hit, you know, for people. Like he was the first. Before him, they didn't have the white face. Maybe they didn't do the fucking water flower and the big shoes and, you know, pies. I don't know if he created all that, but what I'm saying is, like, a lot of traditional clown stuff that dude came up with, and he invented all of that, and in doing so, he was like a superstar of his time. When he died, they got Charles Dickens to work on his you know, the not memoir, biography or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's as big as it fucking gets, brother.
That's what I'm saying. He was huge deal.
That's so crazy that's again, going back to your first point, that's how it all started. The most dignified, serious thing in the world. And now it's, again, terrifying. But also, even if it wasn't terrifying, it's like, you know, we just think of the squeaky shoes and a bunch of them just being in the cars, and it's just all ridiculous and shit. But this is so, like, it sounds so dignified.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, the past was like that, you know. You think of stuff in that time frame as being automatically dignified, but that's also like the general era of Le Pétomane. Remember him?
Yeah, the fartist.
Yeah. Who was the other farter? Roland the farter.
Roland the farter. Yeah,
I think Roland the farter went a little further back than Le Pétomane, but I'm about to look him up again. But anyway, this guy was a professional farter. In that same time, so, you know.
Especially him being British, too. Like, we've talked about this, where, like, the British and the British accent has the exact opposite reaction to our accent, whereas the most ridiculous fucking thing you could ever tell me, but if you tell me a British guy did it in the 1700s, I'll be like, oh, how regal, you know?
Right,
but it could just be stupid. Like, if you put a British accent on anything stupid, I will immediately give it more credit, which is wrong. I shouldn't, but, like, I do.
Yeah. So apparently Le Pétomane roughly translates to fart maniac, or fartomaniac, which hits. His profession was referred to as flatulist, farteur, or fartiste.
God.
A common misconception about Le Pétomane, his real name was Joseph Pujol. Pujol.
What?
Actually,
Get the fuck out of here,
Pujol.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. No way.
That's so funny. Yeah, I didn't even read it because it's spelled just like Albert Pujols, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't consider the fact that, his name, I mean, that Pujol, that's Pujol, right?
Nominative determinants, buddy, if I'm saying that right.
You are at its absolute finest right there.
God,
but
damn.
For the record, he was about 50 years later than Grimaldi, just so everybody knows. I said it was the same time, but he was in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. A common misconception about Le Pétomane was that he passed intestinal gas as part of his stage performance. Right. That was not true. Yeah, rather, what he did was he sucked air into his butt and then pushed it back out to do his like tricks and whatnot with.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who tried to teach us all how to do that.
You got a buddy who could suck air into his butt?
Yeah, he could fart on command. Fucking Jarvis, I'll say his name because I think he'd be proud. But we were in high school and he would just constantly fart. Like one of his gimmicks that he would do was like he would tell a joke and then on cue fart at the punchline, and we were all like, dang, man, like, so you just wait till you have to fart, and then that's when you decide to talk, so that you make sure that, and he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you just fart. And I was like, buddy, he's like, you can't just fart. And I was like, you're acting like, you're acting like it's the same as a burp. Because like, and I know you can't burp, but like, if you want to burp, you just gulp air in and you burp. And he goes, yeah, it's that, but with my butt.
But with your butt, yeah.
And we were all just like, fart now. And that motherfucker would just kind of, his face you could tell he was doing something, and then he'd fart. And we were like, get the fuck out of here. He goes, I've just suck air up my ass like I'm breathing. And we were like, fucking bullshit, prove it. So we got him stripped butt ass naked in the locker room, and he pulled his legs behind his head, and we watched him breathe in his asshole. Like he would suck air, and it was like the most, so we've all tried it, but like, I do not have the.
How do you try
strength.
it? What do you do? What do you do to try to suck air into your butt? Like I don't even know how to make an attempt at sucking air into my own butt. How do you do that?
The only way, well, clearly I don't do it right because I can't do it, but the only way I can describe to tell you to try it is do the opposite of a fart. Like a fart is where you push out. Try to suck up your butt. But like, I'm trying it right now. And dude, I'm a really good farter. Like I can actually, like, if I know I have a really good fart coming, I can sort of change the pitch of my farts. Like I can sort of fart a sonata. You know what I mean? Like I can do a little high, I can go, like I can
fart,
do all
yeah.
Fart. Yeah, I can do, but I can even make the part with my fart whenever I got a big one. But like in terms of trying to suck, I can't even begin to.
No,
I don't have that. Whatever that is, I don't have it.
So this is great.
Yeah, Drew, just to catch you up, we're talking about Pétomane. You know what Pétomane is? Fartiste from the,
Fartiste.
late 19th, early 20th century.
French vaudevillian, correct?
Yeah, his name was Joseph Pujol. Pujol. Yeah, Pujol.
I know.
It's wild he improved on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Le Pétomane translates from French into the Fartomaniac. So that was his stage name, the Fartomaniac. So he found this, he was in the military and was bragging like your buddy was, Corey, about being able to do this. And everybody's like, bullshit, just like y'all were. So he would he'd pull his pants down, and then he would suck water up into his butt from a pan, and then spray the water onto all his buddies, you know, in the milk, like spray. And in doing that, he realized he could do it with air as well. And then, you know, the rest is history. But to elaborate on some of that history.
Do you think the water allowed for the air? Because I got this Tushy Cadillac top of the line bidet, and I've been letting the water go into my butthole.
Yeah,
because
and then you push it
it's
out.
like, and then I push it out, and it's like, well, now I know I'm clean. Like
yeah, right.
We cleaned it from the inside out. You know what I'm saying?
Just so you know, for future reference, you probably already knew this, but that I believe is exactly what you do before you get your butt fucked. So if you ever need to know that, or if you ever
did know that,
you know, just so you know, Drew, you've been practicing. Yeah, right. So you know.
It's anal douching, basically, right?
Yes, right.
That just made me.
But I think with an anal douche, like a proper anal douche, you go pretty deep.
Yeah,
probably.
Like you push it up in there like those old super soakers,
and then you squeeze it. Yeah, where I'm just talking about, just open the screen door and let it get in the foyer. I'm letting them in the foyer. You know, when I get the mudroom clean, and I'm wondering if I keep this up, if I'll be able to do it with air. I wasn't trying to derail the combo. That was where I was going.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I think that it is about training. Like, essentially, it's like, I think the same motion that you would have to do in order to suck air up your butt to fart it out is sort of like an anal kegel. So it's like you're having to strengthen the constitution of your sphincter muscle. And my buddy Jarvis you can't coach that. Like, he just had it. You know what I mean?
Jarvis the farter, Jarvis the hardy farter,
Jarvis the hardy farter. And normally I try not to say names of people, but like, dude, there's no way that he's not proud of that. You know what I mean? I mean, he was at the time. That was his thing.
So Le Pétomane, here's what he did for his first of all, he started in Marseille, right? and he quickly made it to the main stage at the Moulin Rouge in Paris, right? Because he was such a big hit, as you can, imagine. The highlights of his stage act including imitating the sound effects of cannon fire and thunderstorms, as well as playing O Sole Mio and Le Marseillaise on an ocarina through a rubber tube in his anus. So,
is O Sole Mio the song that Jim Carrey made into Asshole Mio?
Yes, in Ace Ventura. Asshole Romeo, oh sodomia.
So he could play that with a ocarina in his butthole, evidently, and he could blow out a candle from several yards away. He was such a hit that in the audience on certain nights where Edward, Prince of Wales, Sigmund Freud, and also King Leopold II of Belgium. Y'all know who that motherfucker is? King Leopold II of Belgium?
I'm sure that he's come up in my putting on air research at some point.
He is the fucking Hitler of the Congo. He
there you go.
Absolutely ravaged Central Africa in a super fucked up way, and mostly gets away with it. It's the people like there's been books written about him and shit. People like douchebags like me have found out he existed now, but for a long time, nobody ever talked about how much of a fucking genocidal maniac this guy was. Well, it's so wild that dude in his spare time, he's watching Le Fartiste blow out candles with his butt and golf clapping and shit in between chopping off children's hands because they don't find enough fucking diamonds or whatever.
So this dude was
the past is such a nightmare, man.
This guy was like Hitler's favorite comic, or not a great comparison, but Trump's favorite comedian. Right. That's very interesting.
Not a good thing to be.
Is the Leopold you speak of the person Hugh Jackman was playing when he played an 1800s royal person in Kate and Leopold? Have we whitewashed this dude?
Oh, surely not. I never saw that. I never saw that movie, so I have no idea. But dude, surely not.
I think he's just a Leopold.
Yeah.
Isn't
but I haven't seen that movie though, so I don't know.
He's the Leopold, the third Duke of Albany. That doesn't sound like your guy.
Forgive me for being stupid here, but the reason I'm just asking, the reason that guy isn't talked about along the sides of Hitler is because he did it to the Africans, right?
Yes.
Is that why it was that? Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Okay. I didn't know if there was some other reason, he covered it up for a while, but to me, I was like, yeah, that sucks, but that is how that goes.
Well, yeah, what I'm about to say is not a quote I want anyone to isolate, but we think of Hitler as the worst person ever because he did it in Europe to white people. I'm not suggesting that he is the greatest person ever, but there was people doing stuff in China and Africa that was, dude, they was murdering them by the millions.
Yeah, Genghis Khan, man. There's, I know you're 100% right. Hitler just came at the perfect time where print media was more prevalent. There were movies were starting to come out. You know what I'm saying? And it was a part of the great wars, so you're right. When you go back through history and read about some of these dudes, it's God damn it, that was, and again, not to take anything away from the Holocaust, but there have been plenty of those things that happened that we just don't talk about because it's that's
such a funny, preface to a sentence.
Yeah,
I don't want to take anything away from again, not to take anything away from the Holocaust.
But you know
me, boys. I give credit where it's due now.
But I'm just saying,
Adolf,
a lot of it is
now top notch. But
a lot of it
in a tournament, neutral field. Be honest. Who you drafting first? Be for real. Genghis Khan or the guy with the goofy mustache? Be honest, boys. Okay.
Vlad the Impaler. You know what I'm a lot of these dudes and another thing too that's important is because there are people right now who were in the Holocaust, so it's closer to us. And I get that.
Well, I was just about to say a really old episode of this podcast. We kind of talked about this because I asked y'all if you thought that Hitler would ever
he don't
have his own franchise of mall restaurants. There's the Genghis Grill, right? So that's fucking first year of this podcast.
Well, okay, there is
it does need to be pointed out that you brought Vlad the Impaler, Genghis Khan, guys like that. Like, it is different just by virtue of him being in
there's another
the
huge
modern
difference
era.
Too. Yeah. There's another huge difference.
People, like you said.
And it sounds like this Leopold guy. It sounds like this Leopold guy is closer to Hitler than Genghis and what I'm about to say, although I don't know a lot about it. But there's another huge difference here, which was Genghis Khan was a murderous conqueror.
Killed everybody.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, while expanding his empire. Hitler was doing that while also trying to kill a specific subgroup of his own citizens based upon their ethnicity. Right. There's like this extra strange, like killing your own countryman element. I'm not saying Genghis Khan didn't do that, but I never read about it. It seemed like it was fuck everybody. And there's something weirdly, strangely more noble about murdering all the people than murdering one of the peoples.
Yeah, it was all about conquest with him. Just like I'm the stallion who will mount the world type shit. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like ethnic based genocide or anything, which is a little grosser, obviously. But it's funny what you said. I get what you're saying. I remember Eddie Izzard on Dress to Kill had a bit that was like the exact opposite. He wasn't talking about Genghis Khan though. He's talking about Stalin, Pol Pot, Chairman Mao, right? And all of those guys killed like way, way more people than Hitler. He was like, well, they killed their own people. We're sort of fine with that. He's like, but Hitler, killed the person next door. Oh, stupid man. We can't have that, can we? Hitler never played Risk when he was a kid.
It is true though. Like, because one, you go, it's out like this guy hated an entire group of people. The other people just only liked themselves. There's a slight difference in it.
Yeah. Genocide talk.
Don't hit.
This week on Genocide don't hit. We've always said that. That's right.
Nor does Hitler.
It's a wild, there's a very direct hinge point that makes a lot of sense, and that was King Leopold II, but it's a wild pivot from Le Pétomane to the history of genocide. Literally the most whimsical and absurd live entertainer of all time, who was a professional farter, straight into Hitler or Genghis Khan. What do you think? Who you got?
Yeah, but sometimes you're going to have that. Like, I'm certain. I'm certain that like Kim Jong-un likes a Spielberg movie from time to time. You know what I mean? Like when you hit, like that's just going to be how that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dictators get the blues.
Let me look up Roland the Farter real quick.
Yeah, please. I have an image of him in my head.
I was going to say. Well, go ahead. Let's see. Well, he was a medieval flatulist. Yeah. He was way, way back, the 12th century England, and he was a jester who could fart.
The picture I have of him in my head, and maybe it's the one they use on Wikipedia, is like him in typical jester stuff, but he also has like a flute pressed to his asshole or something.
Right. I was just about to say, it's wild to me that we haven't had one of these since Le Pétomane in the early 1900s. But listen to this. Paul Oldfield, better known by his stage name, Mr. Methane, is a British flatulist or professional farter who started performing in 1991.
What?
He briefly retired in 2006, but restarted in mid-2007. He claims to be the only currently performing professional farter in the world. He worked on the railways before focusing on his farting performances.
That's a hilarious thing to retire from and then to come back. You know what I mean?
You got to buy yourself a watch.
I totally get never doing it again, but to be like, man, the fucking struggle. Like I
Brady
need
and
some
Jordan
time away from farting. Yeah, I need some time away from farting. And then in 2007, he's like, God damn, not farting don't pay the bills. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And he also had to hang out with his family.
Yeah, don't hit.
So it says that he discovered his ability to fart on command at the age of 15 while practicing yoga. The next, you're getting some wild butt up in the air positions while doing yoga. The next day, eager to share his newfound ability, he performed 20 rapid fire farts in under a minute for a group of his friends. That's pretty good.
That's great.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that one friend who was like, you should do this professionally. You're good, dude. You've got it.
Yeah.
My uncle works in the business.
This feller is able to fart the notes of music in time and in tune. And in the late 1980s, after years of work in the railway industry, he turned professional, starting as an opening act for bands.
How do you follow that shit? Literally.
Can we see him?
He was on Howard Stern as the British Blaster and performed a series of fart acts on Broadway in New York City.
On Broadway.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Wow.
In the 90s, he produced a parody of the Phil Collins song In the Air Tonight titled Curry in the Air Tonight. But his business manager refused to let him release it, stating this is a very serious song and we cannot see any reason for it to be taken so lightly. What a fucking stick in the mud. How do you manage a pro farter and be that much of a fucking prude about Phil Collins's oeuvre or whatever?
Also, how'd you get that kind of power to like, how can a business manager stop it? Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh.
It says in 2009, he auditioned for Britain's Got Talent, announcing his intention to put the art into fart, but failed to make it through to the live finals. He gave a flatulous performance of the Blue Danube Waltz and was buzzed out by all three judges.
Well, see, he made the mistake of going on Britain's Got Talent, not America's Got Talent, because we would have ate that shit up.
It says, despite two of them, Piers Morgan and Amanda Holden laughing uncontrollably while Simon Cowell called him a disgusting creature. Dude, how do you... I don't understand that.
That would
like
hit
if you're
for me
laughing
so
your
hard.
ass, bro. If like, I don't know how you can watch a man fart the Blue Danube, right, and like be unable to keep yourself from laughing uncontrollably, and then be like, "No, that ain't it. You got to go." Like I don't understand that.
I was listening to Edgar Wright talk about movies and like how critics are like they'll straight up talk about how, oh yeah, I mean, it was very, very entertaining, but like, was it a good movie and blah, 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 blah. And Edgar Wright was like, listen, I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we're making movies to have a conversation or to make a point, but like everyone's goal should be to make something that's entertaining. And if you were entertained the whole time and had a good time watching the movie, it's a good fucking movie. So like,
also, dude, we all fart, right?
Yeah.
So like,
not professional.
I got to fart right now.
Right.
Was.
The Blue Danube, that was not. Like I'm saying, every human has the capacity to understand that that's crazy what that guy's doing.
It's
you know
impressive.
what I mean? Because we
it's
all know
than
that we
singing
can't.
It.
You can't not. It ain't like everybody can fart. It's way harder than singing it.
Yeah.
Farting it. He's like the only dude on earth who can fart it.
This is another example of comedy
disrespect.
not being... It's another example of comedy not being respected. It reminds me of when Eddie Murphy was like, y'all gave me a fucking Oscar for Dreamgirls. Fucking The Clumps was way harder.
Easiest job I've ever had.
He said, I remember in the midst of saying that, he's like, everybody was telling me the whole time, he's like, oh, you know that one scene where you gave that look when the drugs came out and you gave that look. That was incredible. And I was like, motherfucker, a look? What are you talking about? Yeah. Did you see what I did in The Clumps? Like, this is like, that's one of my favorite.
The equal would be if this guy was an opera singer and we found that out and then he just came out and belted it and people were like, oh my God, your voice. And he's like, fuck y'all. Right. Do you know how easy that was compared to the other thing?
Yeah. Dude, there's a lot of opera singers, dude. There's only one Mr. Methane. This is some bullshit.
Another example of that is how like, if
we could probably get him on the show, you think?
Let's do it, buddy. Let's send.
We could probably get nudes from him.
Let's find out his information and let's absolutely try to get him on the show. But another thing that I think that goes with that is like everyone, like if you mention Vincent D'Onofrio to a lot of people, they'll always be like, "Oh man, his performance in Full Metal Jacket, oh my God, so great." The best performance that motherfucker ever gave, and one of the best performances any motherfucker ever gave, was in Men in Black. That is one of the most that's one of the most insane, wonderful performances ever. And honestly, if you go back and watch that movie, he's playing a bug. And he does it. Like, he should have been nominated for a fucking Oscar. Whoever won the Oscar that year did not do as good as that motherfucker in Men in Black.
I will give it up for D'Onofrio as Edgar, but I think he's much better in Full Metal Jacket. Personally,
No,
I think that.
No.
I think that
Did he play a bug?
Gained weight. This one because
I thought he was
Full Metal Jacket is.
Dude, he crushes in that movie. I'm just saying it's harder to play.
I thought something was wrong
bug.
with him.
Me too.
Like I thought they got somebody to do the thing. Do you know what I mean? I was like, damn, how'd they teach him to remember lines?
He's awesome in that movie. I just think it's harder to play a bug.
Because Jim Carrey played the bird in Ace Ventura. Well, I was going to say I don't believe you, but Jim Carrey's pretty fucking talented.
Yeah, Jim Carrey should have won Oscars for everything he did.
Men in Black, like, actually, it's like goofy, but that movie's got some like elevated moments in it.
It's awesome.
Not just the
good movie.
The Vincent D'Onofrio thing. Yeah, like the little dialogue on the bench between them two about like, imagine what you'll know tomorrow, and the whole thing about like a person is nice, whatever, but people are panicky, stupid animals, all this stuff. Like there's a lot of wisdom in the
Dude,
first
my
Men in
favorite
Black.
One of my favorite lines in movies ever, and it only makes sense in this universe, was just when Tommy Lee Jones threw on his glasses and goes, "Elvis didn't die, son. He just went home." And I fucking love that. Like talking about Elvis as an alien. That movie's fucking great.
It is.
That movie should have won Best Picture that year. Whoever won Best Picture that year.
Up till the Chris Hemsworth one, but like the first three, they're Men's in Black with Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith, and then in Men in Black 3, Josh Brolin is so fucking killer.
He's
Men
great.
In Black 3.
He is Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, those first three movies are like they're solid as hell. They genuinely hold up. They're really good.
That woman
take a break, Joe.
Howdy there, WellRED fans across the Skewniverse. It's your boy Trae Crowder here. Just want to take an opportunity to let you know about a couple of things that I think you might think are cool. Just some things to let you know about in case you don't already know about them. I'm talking about, in particular, Weekly Skews, hosted by me and Smart Mark AG. If you're into my political musings, and I assume many of you are, well, it's all politics all the time podcast. That's what Weekly Skews is. Mark reads and knows stuff. I learn and react to stuff. We have a good time. We do the show live every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific on my social pages. But also you can get it as a podcast wherever you get your podcast from, or you can watch it on my YouTube channel. You don't have to be there live. Check it out either way. Also, if you would like to check out some of the bonus stuff I got going on, you can go to patreon.com/Trae Crowder. I got a bunch of stuff on there for my patrons. You got multiple tiers. I do news reaction videos. I learn the news of the day, react to them in real time, rant and rave, do my thing. We have interviews with other blue sheep, people like Corey, Drew, Smart Mark, my sister, you name it, all kinds of fun people, Brent Terhune. And we explore the background of my political opinions, as well as reviewing many of our country's worst politicos, all that. Plus I do audience Q&As and bonus Weekly Skews episodes, all at my Patreon. It's also just a nice way for you to support your boy. So if you'd like to check out the wares over there, go to patreon.com/Trae Crowder and do so. And then lastly, one-stop shopping for me. If you want to come see me live, which I sure would appreciate, or you want to check out me and the guys' Amazon specials, you can find all that by going to TraeCrowder.com. Last but not least, I love you like chicken. Thank you for being here and enjoying the WellRED podcast, and we'll keep doing it if you keep listening to it, baby. See you, love you, bye.
I'm still kind of stewing that fucking Pierce Morgan gets to tell Mr. Methane that he don't hit. You know what I mean?
No, I thought he said that he did hit.
No, they all said that he didn't hit. He was laughing, but then said he didn't hit while still laughing at him. Like, what the fuck does Pierce Morgan do? You know what I mean?
He farts.
Yeah, but he don't hit at it.
No, you're also getting at another. You're also getting at another specific way comedy's so disrespectful. It's like everybody's laughing, you're doing your job, and then they're like,
"Right,
that wasn't talent." What? How? All right, you get up here, Pierce, and make one person laugh. You fucking bubbly piece of shit. He looks so bloated. Listen, I got to tell you guys something real quick.
Okay.
My computer's messed up in the shop, so I'm on this laptop. So, first of all, that's why I sound weird. But it makes my desk look so different because I have a desktop, and now I've got a laptop on my desk. So look what I just seen that's been here, I guess, since we put this desk in this position, but I haven't seen it in years. You guys remember this?
Oh yeah. Of course.
Do I
Of course
remember that? Hold on, Drew. Hold on. I have my copy.
I think Corey, I'm pretty sure Corey did something with that on his Substack recently.
I still am. It's an ongoing series. I've been dragging it the fuck out.
Okay, so good. We can plug that, and I need to make a comment. So you guys were talking about farts, and I wasn't listening to y'all because I saw this book, and I was like, well, I got to pick this up. I haven't picked it up in a while. And I just turned to a random page. It was page 29 to 30. And I started reading. And
yeah,
this is longer than an 8-minute conversation. Maybe we can remember to bring it up earlier. I'm so uncomfortable from this passage.
Look what page I'm on that I haven't read yet. 29.
Okay. That's wild. So everyone, here's a plug for Corey's when he gets to it, because I'm not going to read it. And here's why.
No.
The gay stuff didn't make me uncomfortable, genuinely. The tenderness with which she writes our relationship.
Yeah.
And is that toxic masculinity? Is that I have a particular type of homophobia where a dick don't bother me, but loving a man does? It's almost like how I'd rather squeeze your dick jokingly than you clasp hands with me.
Of course.
I remember
there's a passage in here where I got physically, I felt the thing, and it was Zia Laura, such a great writer, was describing the way Trae was looking at Corey, and it made me feel ill.
So there's like gay dudes out there, right, who are around our age and stuff, and probably older too. But like, I've heard them talk about it on podcasts and shit, how they're like, and there's something they've had to push back against, but like, they'll pork a dude, right? Yep. But they don't want to, like, you know, be kissed on the lips. They don't want to have like a fucking, like like you said, a hug and a kiss or holding hands or something. It's just like, I'm not a fucking queer, you know, what the hell? Like,
what's the movie?
Sex, Willem Dafoe. I'm not going to do that.
Willem Dafoe. Boondock Saints.
Oh, Boondock Saints. Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yes, when he goes, get off me, you fucking F word.
Yeah, that's apparently like, that's like a real thing. You know, like that exists. There's dudes out there that are like that. And
I think I'm that dude.
We don't have the, but you're not gay though.
Yeah, right. Like, but I would rather you suck my dick. Yeah. I would rather you suck my dick than have to hold hands with you all day, for sure.
Sure. I feel like that's like, I mean, of course. Like, right? Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you that that's the case, but I think the of course
is that's just a man thing. No, dude, don't you think any dude
the of course is just for us?
Sucked, then hold hands with anybody, like fucking.
But it's getting your dick. Dude, where we're from, where we're from, if you're a dude and a dude sucked your dick, that fucks you forever. Like you're gay now. Like so, some people would rather do a hand holding. Me, I'd rather get my dick sucked. You know,
I just
rather get my dick sucked. What do you do?
You're right. That's just I don't know. I don't feel like that's all that out of pocket to ever, as a man, say, "Call me crazy." I'd rather get my dick sucked. That's just how I am. Now,
but I don't think it's out of pocket.
You can take all that other stuff if you want, but
I don't think it's out of pocket. But I
like getting my dick sucked. I know that's weird.
I don't think every papa would agree with you, though, Trae.
No.
Like I think there would be papaws who would be like, "No, just kill me. I ain't doing neither." And then you go, "All right, but here's the thing."
No. I don't think we're like connecting here. What I'm saying is like, I know that when you specify that it's a man who's doing it, there are plenty of papaws and plenty of straight dudes who would say, "No, just kill me instead." I know that that's true. I'm saying I don't think that, like, on an instinctual level, I don't think that that's a wild or crazy thing to say.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that a lot of papaws
my dick sucked, you know, because it just makes sense.
A lot of
I don't think it's of course though. I think it's 50-50, and I think it relates to the stuff we're talking about.
Now, I remember when that's a fan fiction, an erotic fan fiction written about the three of us.
Oh yeah,
that was given to us.
Didn't really give it any context.
We didn't really explain it, but all this time later, that's an erotic fan fiction written about the three of us that was given to us in Asheville, right, where we're going to be Sunday.
Yes,
I think that's
that
correct.
was in Nashville.
Rocky Ridge Books is who put this out.
Perhaps she's written a sequel by now. I don't know, but anyway, she brought it to us after a show in Asheville. We all got copies, and we were so excited. We were like, "This is going to be fucking hilarious," whatever. And she's great. I'm not disparaging it, whatnot. I just remember we got back to the green room. We started reading it out loud, and very quickly, we all three were like, "Oh no, this is kind of weird, man."
The problem is that it's good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah. Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like in our brains, we were like, "Oh, this will be hilarious," but like it's actually a really well written homosexual romance and not played for comedy. It's not played for comedy at all.
Right.
And actually in my series on Substack where I've been reading parts of this, and by the way, I got permission from Zia Laura. I would never had done it otherwise, but I'm reading it verbatim, but I also do a little commentary pointing out just some characteristic inaccuracies of us, such as like, Trae would never talk to me like that. You know what I mean? I would fucking kill.
I just randomly turned to a page where you two are sucking my dick, and this is proof of what I'm talking about too. This is hitting for me so fucking hard. This because it's not as tender and like there's not as much like eye contact and saying stuff. Listen, I fucking love this sentence. Drew opened his mouth to say something, but his erect cock would call him a liar if he said anything other than please.
Yeah, and also. The thing that really
she knows me. She wrote me so well. Thank you, Z.
Another inaccuracy, but the thing that hits for me the most is that I'm described as having the biggest wiener out of all of us, which again, not accurate, but it hits for me that she went there. That was a choice that she made, which really hits. Yeah. And at one point, and I thought this part would hit for me, but at one point, Katie, Andy, and Amber all have a threesome at a sauna. And like, don't get me wrong.
What page is that, cuz?
I don't remember. That's a welcome aside, but that was the catalyst for us deciding to suck each other's dicks. You know, it's like, well, if they can do it.
I'm sorry if I missed it. Did you add that, or is that in this book?
No, it's in the book somewhere. I'm pretty certain. Or
dude, I thought I read most of it.
Or it's that we were sucking each other's dicks, and Amber and them were like, well, if y'all are going to do that, we're going to lick some pussy at the massage parlor. And we were like, bet it, baby.
I think it's the second one because it opens with us at the nudist retreat. Like the onus of this is that basically this is true fanfic in that it took something that did happen in the WellRED universe, which is that we were at a nudist retreat with a lot of gay men together. And then Z was like, well, what y'all didn't know was this is what really went down there.
And also, again, let me state, which I'm speaking for all three of us, I know we're talking about it in jest right now, but the reason that it makes us so uncomfortable is because it's a well-written fanfic romance. Like, it's not, again, like, in our... Yeah, it is really good.
It's like eye contact, tenderness. He looked at his lips in a way. It's like stuff like that. It's very, very, it's sweet. It's full of romance, not just fucking.
That's the gay part, you know, which is fine.
Yeah.
So because I remember I thought it would be like, do you guys know, you know, we've talked, I think, about Chuck Tingle, right?
Oh, yeah. All his stuff is like in my butthole, or
he's like pounded in my butt by my own butt. You know,
he's prolific.
Pounded by the pound, turned gay by the socioeconomic implications of Britain leaving the European Union.
Wait, can I do one more from this though?
A butt in the mist.
Yes, please.
Sorry.
This is my I have seen before. This is my other favorite part, other than you guys sucking my dick and my cock calling me a liar. This is so great. Full stop. Trae waited and waited. Nothing. When Corey didn't scream, "I got you," Trae's entire belief system stood under a magnifying glass and was called into question. Was it what he believed, or was it what he was taught to believe? Corey, I am too many beers in to even begin to figure out what the hell you're talking about. Corey stood on the edge of his bed, head down, staring at the floor. How does anyone know if they love or hate deep fried Oreos unless they try them?
That is exactly how I would try to get a dude to fuck my butt. That is 100% how I would. By the way, cheap plug for me, but if you want to hear me read this, you can go to parttimefunnyman.com. I've put out 5 segments so far, and I'm about to read the 6th, I guess, maybe later today. But yeah, that was some good character work.
Can you put the chapter about the girls? Can you just put that out for free, or give your boy like a login code or something?
Oh, it's all, listen, my Substack is all free. You can pay $5 a month, but you can also I still put everything out there for free for those that don't have the $5. So you can just go get it. But yeah, I'll isolate that one for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know where to go from there.
You know where we should go from there?
We're Knoxville. Like 57 minutes in. Yeah, right. So yeah, we'll be in Knoxville this weekend at the in the Immaculate Bijou Theater. Always a lovely.
There's like
lovely
10
time.
tickets.
It's very, very close to sold out. So if you don't,
let's sell it out.
You should get it. Yeah, it would have for us to sell it out once again. So get your ticket, come and see us, and we'll be in Asheville at the also awesome Orange Peel for 2 shows the very next day. Sunday.
One show is sold out on that one, but
the early show there is sold out. The second show Sunday, which the second show Sunday is only at like 7 or 7:30. It's not late, so
right.
Get some tickets. Come see us.
Don't give us this bullshit. I can't be up late excuse.
Yeah.
No
fucking do it.
Just come see us.
I guess sing us out of here, Joe.
Thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and Skeews.